9 News Plus weather, sponsored by Carrier Colorado. The future of home comfort is here.
Hey, thanks for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon here on 9 News Plus. I'm 9 News Meteorologist Chris Bianchi with a look at your Colorado weather forecast. Lots of beautiful sunshine out there on this mid-July, midsummer day. And I know we have certainly earned it after a very, very wet start to our calendar year, very wet start to our spring, and summer's been so active. So I'm sure lots of you getting outside and enjoying this nice weather, though it's definitely on the hot side right now. And you look outside from Lookout Mountain, a few clouds starting to bubble on up. And I do think we're going to deal with a bit more cloud cover this afternoon compared to yesterday. Yesterday was unusual for us here across eastern Colorado in the fact that we basically did not have a cloud in the sky yesterday afternoon. And for the middle of summer, that is not common to have basically a cloud-free environment like what we had yesterday. Today, a bit more cloud cover during the afternoon. That could give way to an isolated gusty shower this afternoon. I'll show you that in detail in just a second. Meantime, I think the story continues to be those temperatures. It is another hot one, already near 90 degrees for us in Denver, and probably a couple more degrees to go. The weekend could be a bit more active and certainly on the cooler side. Right now, HD Doppler radar showing a few of those showers and storms flaring on up into the flat tops, the Maroon Bells, and really along the I-70 corridor from about Vail Pass on west. And notice those clouds and showers pushing from west to east as they eventually make the trip down the Front Range into the foothills. That's when those showers and storms will die on out, but it will be a windy death as those showers and storms, when they die, when they run into the warmer air of the I-25 corridor, what happens to those showers and storms as they dissipate? They let out a whole lot of cold air, and you feel that as gusty winds. So what I'm expecting in about 2-3 hours is maybe a few of these showers to cross I-25 with the possibility of a brief burst of maybe 40 to 50 mile an hour winds and maybe a few raindrops in the windshield, some cloudier skies, and then on they go. And that will pretty much do it. And those skies could be a little ominous looking, but I wouldn't pay too much attention. We're not looking at a risk for severe weather for today. So again, the skies may have a bit more bark than bite with them come around 4 or 5 o'clock or so this afternoon. But again, not expecting a whole lot to come from those other than maybe a few raindrops and a little bit of gusty wind. So would not plan around that at all. Meantime, temperatures mentioned. This is probably the main story. 87 right now at DIA. I'll tell you right now here at the 9 News weather station here in central Denver. We are not quite downtown Denver. We're on Spear and Logan, just the south of downtown Denver. We're at 91 right now here in central Denver. So probably a bit more of an accurate view at what most of you are seeing. Eastern Colorado, look at that in Pueblo. 98 right now, 96 for our friends out in Lamar and in Springfield. In the high country, even at Leadville at 10,200 feet in elevation, it is 72 toasty degrees. That is, of course, relative, but for our friends up that way, 70 degrees, not all that common for us. Now, dew points, I'm showing you this because this is a measure of the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. The higher this number is, the more moisture you have to work with, and it's notably drier today compared to yesterday, and that is helping that air more efficiently warm on up, and that is getting those temperatures getting, for most spots, into the low to mid 90s across the eastern plains, even to the high country, a bit drier than it was this time yesterday. But for today, probably a few more degrees to go. I think we do correct 90 degrees here in Denver. Again, that isolated gusty storm between about 3:30 and 6. Anything we get will be brief. It will not be a big deal. It just may look a little ominous for an hour or two here in central Denver. Now, not quite at 90 yet, but today, pretty close to a lock that we'll get to 90 degrees. And if we do, that would be our 4th day at 90 or above so far this year. For a little context, at this point last year, we'd already had 23 days at 90 or above. And if we get to 90 today, that would be number 4. So it has certainly been a cool start to our summer. In fact, our coolest start to a summer season here in Denver since 1995. So again, off to a cool start, no doubt about it. For tonight, temperatures drop back in the low 60s. Pleasant evening, light winds. Is there anything better than a nice, calm summer evening? I don't think so. I think it's going to be absolutely glorious out there. Any of those outdoor plans should be A-OK for us for tonight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. Once again, similar to yesterday, but one difference compared to today I'm expecting for tomorrow is that possibility for some stronger storms from about Fort Morgan, Lyman on east. For our friends out on the eastern plains, there is the threat that 1 or 2 storms develop into a severe caliber storm. highest chance the further east you go across our beautiful state, and that chance will be mainly for large hail and damaging winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. So, as we look ahead to tomorrow afternoon, a few, again, similar for us here along the Front Range. The fact that I think we have between about 3 and 6, maybe a few clouds, a stray rain shower, stray gusty rain shower or two. That's pretty much it for us here in the Denver area. So pretty much rinse, lather, repeat for tomorrow in Denver compared to today. The difference tomorrow will be that the eastern plains, again, Fort Morgan, Lyman, La Junta on east, that's where we could see 1 or 2 stronger storms with the possibility for some large hail and damaging winds late tomorrow afternoon. Come tomorrow night, those showers and storms will clear quickly off to the east. Now, one difference we get later on through the week is our area high pressure that is responsible for this dry, warm summer weather. It's going to back off to the west, and that's going to kind of drift off to the west. As it does so, that's going to lead to a bit more of a northerly pull to the air mass. And that means we're probably talking about A, some cooler temperatures, and B, a chance for some showers and storms starting on Friday. But at this point, looks like Saturday could be the day for some storms. I know there's a certain concert in town, and we'll have a bit more on that forecast here in just a second. But in the meantime, that 7-day forecast, mild for tomorrow. Friday, Saturday, we cool down. So we're talking about highs in the low to mid 80s for us for both Friday and Saturday. Then Sunday, Monday into early next week, back into the 90s for us. So this little reprieve from the midsummer-like heat, it's only going to last for a couple days for us before we get back into the 90s. But speaking of a certain Taylor Swift who will be in town coming up on Friday and Saturday, your Friday SWIFTCAST, I think you're probably all right. If you're heading to the show on Friday, you can just about plan on the fact that you won't have a storm. Low odds, let's say 10-20% chance at a storm. Anything we get would be early. But I think Saturday would be if you've got tickets to the Saturday show, I would definitely plan on bringing the poncho, because I think that Saturday could be the day for some stormier weather for us. So if you're looking for some midnight rain, Saturday's show would be the one for that. But in the meantime, Friday, at this point, looking pretty dry, pretty nice. But on the good side, it's going to be, I think, cooler, which I think generally speaking is good news, because remember, the show starts at 6:30, so it's still pretty peak heat at that point. And if it's 95, we're only dropping back about 92, 93 by 6:30. So the fact that we're talking about highs in the 80s means we're probably only going to be talking about those temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s for the start of the show. And then that rainfall forecast, again, not much of which to speak of over the next few days. Anything we get now should be pretty isolated and hit or miss. So again, top line takeaways: warm today, warm tomorrow, maybe a stray gusty storm between about 3 and 6 both today and tomorrow. Will be very brief, very isolated. Then by the time we get into the weekend, more widespread storms specifically for Saturday. And then by Sunday, we dry back out and warm things on up. We'll be back into the 90s by next Monday and Tuesday. So hopefully it gives you a good idea about what to expect as we head over the next couple of days. But if not, Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabins right behind that TV screen, getting ready for 9 News at 4 and at 5 p.m. And of course, we'll also have meteorologist Danielle Grant in at 6, 9, and 10 tonight on the 9 News family of networks. So we're all tracking all this weather for you right here on 9 News and on 9 News Plus. Once again, I'm 9 News meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Thanks again for joining us here on 9 News Plus. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.